The mortise and tenon. Now there's a very popular joint that goes back a long way because it's good looking and very strong. The trick to making your tenons is to first select the router cutter that you'll use to make your mortises, because ideally you want your mortises made with one pass only of the router cutter rather than one pass and a bit. So select your router cutter first. That'll determine how wide your mortise is going to be and make your tenons to suit. For example, if when I did my measurements, that section of uncut material is say 12 millimeters, I would set my saw blade to 11.5 millimeters, because you always want your tenons to be slightly fat straight off the saw, so you can then machine them down very slightly or file them down, and then you should get a really lovely snug fit like this, which is strong, will take a lot of load, and you can't see the way it's joined. I've set my fence to 20. That's 20 from the left-hand side of the blade, which means my tenon will be 22.5 mil long. Don't make your tenons too long, because every millimetre you add to your tenons means you have to make the mortises that much deeper, and that can be quite time-consuming. 20 as a fence setting's fine. I've got this piece of MDF screwed to the upstand of my mitre gauge. That's so that I can override the sandpaper and slide the work, as you'll see, to clean up the cut, and the mitre gauge has to be clearly set at 0. But now we're ready to go, and first I'll do my 4 defining cuts of the tenon, and then settle down to machining out the waste, like this. And there we have a dead central tenon, dead central on the end of the piece of wood, and it's very slightly fatter than my router cutter, which is exactly what I wanted. And every tenon that you do that way will turn out exactly the same.